good morning, good afternoon, or actually good evening. Some of the parents who are actually watching this video of our Third Grade Explorers program. I want to thank you guys for actually clicking on this program and watching through this tutorial on our Wake County Public Schools Third Grade Explorers program. My name is Mike Gifford, and I'm going to take you through some of the aspects and elements of the Explorers program and what happens in third grade for our AIG program. The purpose of the academically or intellectually gifted program here in Wake County is really to challenge all our students to actually to reach their furthest potential that we can see in third grade. We're really looking for at-potential students, and that is kind of our terminology we use. We always look for at-potential students that potentially could be within our gifted program. In a little bit, you'll actually hear about what the AIG program service delivers, but our goal really at the end of the day, specifically for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade programs, is actually nurture and develop talent out of students that actually are identified as gifted. For our 3rd grade Explorers unit specifically, we're actually just looking for talent, and we're actually looking for gifted characteristics. And as a cohesive unit, as a 3rd grade teacher, myself, and some other people that are actually interacting with your child throughout the course of the year, we're going to try to see if we can narrow down and find some gifted characteristics. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the AIG program and actually what we have to offer here in Wake County. Quickly, just wanted to let you know what I do here, Mike Gifford, the AIG program coordinator, and then what happens after elementary school going into middle school and high school. Well, at first, when students come in between grades of K through 2, I serve as a consultant and sometimes a little bit of a collaborative piece. My goal is to help teachers nurture at-potential students for our gifted program in K through 2. After that, we have a 3rd grade Explorers unit in which that we'll dive into more of that, but basically we do a 3rd grade exploring, and what we're doing is we're trying to identify students for our program. The program really begins at 4th and 5th grade level, is where we actually give services for students. And the gifted teacher, like myself, I do a various array of different services for all our gifted students and for some other students that we're still looking at for potential. We're trying to nurture some gifted characteristics. When you get into the middle school, there's a whole bunch of different types of options that can go on in middle school. It got to be a pull-out class, it could be team teaching, it could be accelerated classes, so on and so forth, all depending upon really the school itself and how they have a philosophy or vision on how to best meet their gifted needs. In high school, really, at the end of the day, we only have advanced placement program for that. We don't have any gifted teachers that are actually at the school, and really at the end of the day that if your child does qualify within our gifted program, by the time that they reach high school, you're actually their main advocate for the gifted program. So that's just a little bit about our AIG program service and actually how we deliver our services here in Wake County. So now it's time to get to the meat of our presentation. First off, let's talk about Third Grade Explorers classes and what this looks like. Right now, as a timeline, between September through December, we hold a lot of whole group lessons and activities. The teacher and myself will be doing some observing of some students, and we'll be taking a look at some gifted observational checklists, and we'll be watching for all students to see if they're showing consistent signs of gifted characteristics within the regular classroom. I'll be presenting 3 mathematical whole group lessons that are supposed to jar the conversation and get students thinking in a higher level. And then also we'll be doing a science, literature, arts kind of activities where we'll be taking a look at some products where we get to use some literature along with some science to be able to see if we again can find some gifted characteristics out of some of our students. From that whole group setting, through observation and also through some of our key indicators of our COGAT testing that happened recently in September and also in August, we'll be looking at some of that data along with some of the gifted characteristics that we're seeing in the regular classroom to be able to help us form some small groups. Small groups really are going to start taking shape right around December and then January and February and March. So really, for about 4 months, I'll be working with small groups. Now, these small groups can change depending upon topic, depending upon what the teacher wants me to cover, depending upon those specific units that we're going to try to align very closely with what's going on in the regular classroom. These small groups can change based upon skill and interest and motivation level from students. What we're looking for at the end of the day is to take students out of the regular classroom setting, give them some possibilities of some nurturing questions and some more difficult and complex situations, and to see really how they react to those, and really how they try to go about and solve those problems. We're at the end of the day, we're nurturing talent. We're looking for apt potential students, and this is kind of an observation and exploring period for all of us. At the end of March, I'm going to mainly be used for the fourth and fifth grades during those time slots that I normally would see gifted students. I'll be focusing mainly on remediation, and also we're looking at a few subpopulations throughout the course of the year that really need a lot of lift for our fourth and fifth grade students. So I don't really see too many third grade students between April and May. However, on the other end, your child may or may not be identified by the end of April. Identification really occurs. We try to narrow down all identification by mid-April. So therefore, you'll know if your child has been identified as a moderate or a strong, or has been identified at all within our gifted program. So that's what our third grade Explorers looks like. It's kind of our timeline. And if you take a look at our PB Works site, and I'll show you, that points you to our video. You'll see underneath there, you see Explorers timeline, really how this all works and how this all plays out. What is extremely important to remember is that the third grade Explorers is not really done by me as a gifted teacher. I'm in collaboration with the classroom teacher. There are times where I will not see things within my 45 minutes that I get to spend with the students that your child's teacher will be able to see. They'll be able to see some gifted characteristics within them that I'm not seeing. And then there's times where those gifted characteristics will show up. Then there are times where I'll see gifted characteristics in which that the teacher may not see, and therefore we'll learn back and forth from one another, and really taking a close look at some possible students that we may need to identify within our program. The third piece really is your child. Their cooperation, their motivation, their interests, and things along those lines is going to be really pertinent to us to be able to see some gifted characteristics. At the end of the day, all you can do is tell your child, be who they are, and try their very best at school every single day. And that's really all we ask for you to do, is to continue to encourage them. We also have a few links to be able to help you with some of your knowing and understanding some of the gifted characteristics. But really, one of the more beneficial and helpful results actually comes from your COGAD testing. Every student in third grade will take a COGAD test, and when you get a paper back, you'll actually find a code on your COGAD testing sheet. And if you have any questions, you can call me or email me at any time, and you'll see my email address at the end of this presentation. But you can actually plug in that code into COGAD.com. You can actually find out how your child actually learns the best. The COGAD is a cognitive abilities test, which mainly focuses on the brain and how the brain learns. And so we're all just trying together to be able to find and nurture apt potential students for our AIG program. And again, this is a team effort. So what do our Explorers programs classes look like? Well, first we have some introductory lessons, their whole group, and then what we do is after those whole group assessments, the teacher and I will sit down and we'll do some observational checklists. We'll go back and compare our copious notes and find out really who is showing some really good signs of some gifted characteristics. And then through that, we'll just form some small groups that can be changed throughout the course of the year. And basically, those small groups will have enrichment that will be facilitated actually by me. Those units of study, those small groups, will be across all different types of genres of subject matters. It could be reading, language, arts, it could be math, it could be writing, it could be science, it could be social studies related. It could be anything at this current time right now. And with our new Common Core push, it really, at the end of the day, it can vary from week to week. But again, those classes are definitely enriching, and they're thought-provoking, and they're complex. They're not meant necessarily for remediation, which means to just try to get a student, to help a student that is struggling. We're actually looking to enrich the curriculum. So I know what you're wondering. Well, what are the criteria for actually to participate in small groups? Well, there's a set. What we look for is observational checklists done by me and also the classroom teacher. We take a look at some of the rubrics for the products that have been done in class and see which students are really trying to go above and beyond within the regular classroom. We're taking a look at the students' communication skills. We're looking at how they respond to other students in regards to receiving feedback and also really adapting and learning from one another, but also how they carry themselves in adult conversation. We're also looking for their interests and their motivations. We're looking really what kind of books are they reading. We're taking a look at what kind of projects are they making on the side. Are they doing anything at home that is just like it's a little peculiar for maybe an 8 or 9-year-old at this time. Maybe they're building rockets, or they're interested in creating their own tree forts or so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, we're really looking for motivation. We're looking for them to be able to take some interests that are in here, and they just have a natural desire to learn and want to be motivated to learn practically anything. And we're looking for that within our program. Now, those are just some criteria for our small group participation. It can vary amongst all different types of students, and really at the end of the day, we consider a lot of students within our program, but those are some of our main highlighted elements for our criteria for small group participation. We put this slide in here because it's extremely important for you to remember this. We've had many parents and many students feel as if that they were part of an AIG, part of the AIG program, but really, and then they got disappointed when they weren't being pulled out in 4th grade. We really want to make this clear. Again, this is called what we call an exploring time. It's not an identification time. So when students are participating within our small group setting, when they're being pulled out for small groups, it doesn't mean that they are actually identified within our program. It means we're looking at them. We're trying to nurture some potential within them. But at the end of the day, we have some checklists in which we have to go by. We have some standards and procedures we have to go by for the identification process. So when your child says they're coming home because they're being pulled out with me for 45 minutes a week, it does not mean they're actually in the gifted program. It means that we're looking at them at a potential candidate for our program. As I speak, your student is working. Your child is working in school. Those work samples, those things that are done in a regular classroom, are part of what we call in 3rd Grade Explorers portfolio. We're looking for products, we're looking for work samples, we're looking for things in which the student just wants to go above and beyond and try to be able to do. We give them those opportunities. I help teachers be able to find resources so that the child and your child can actually perform and do some either extra things within the regular classroom that are fun and are challenging. But at the end of the day, we're looking at a few different elements in regards to your 3rd Grade Explorers portfolios. So portfolio meaning we're looking at all the students' work over the course of a period of a year. We're looking at their checklists, we're looking at their journals, we're looking at some of the rubrics and how well they scored on a lot of their projects, and we're looking for products. We're looking at what they are creating in the regular classroom. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for high level products. We're looking for maybe possibly attention to detail and some creativity aspects too. All right, so the identification is coming around. We have COGAT scores back, and within our COGAT scores, I didn't tell you this, but all students that have an 85 percentile or above on the COGAT will take the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. This basically means that we identify some students that are 85th percentile on the COGAT, and then what we do is we give them Iowa Test of Basic Skills in November or December, depending upon really when they're tracked in. Through those 2 sets of assessments, those are what we call our formal indicators for identification. We mainly look at those formal indicators of identification to actually identify a student by April. Those are extremely important. If those students that actually score 92 percentile in both the COGAT and the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, they can actually be identified within our program. For more information on this, you can actually go to our WCPSS link for our AIG program, and you can find our brochure in which we're going to be handing out to you if your child has scored above an 85th percentile or above in their COGAT. we need those formal indicators to identify students. We need your child to be able to score above a 92 percentile on both the COGET and the Iowa Test of Basic Skills to be able to formally identify them within our program. Now, we also take a look at some informal indicators. When we're looking at students and we're like, wow, I don't know the reason why they scored below an 85th percentile on the COGET. They are way outperforming all the students, and they just may have had a bad testing day. Well, we have some other measures in which we can go about in regards to formally or informally, identifying a student. However, we do look at our informal indicators to be able to see if there are some potential indicators for a possible referral for our AIG program. We look for their learning behaviors. We really look for their performance, which is extremely important. We also look at their interest and motivation. We're looking at all 4 of those areas. If we can see that they're actually really, really high, the learning behaviors, the performance, the interest, and the motivation, most likely we're going to reevaluate them and take a really better close look at them to see if we can actually get a test score that could identify them within our program. But at the end of the day, if we take a look at those formal indicators, we need students to be able to be between the 92nd to the 99th percentile in the cognitive ability test and the Iowa Test of Basic Skills for us to be able to have a match to identify any third grade student in the month of April. Throughout the course of this year, you actually receive a lot of writing, some literature. Please make sure you read those pieces of literature. Please make sure you read our program, our brochures. They'll be coming. They may be coming to you in the beginning of this year. Just make sure you please read them, and also shoot me an email, mgifford2@wcpss.net, and you guys can always. I'll answer any questions that any. So how we're going to keep you informed? Well. On our AIG site, the link that your third grade teacher just sent you to be able to view this video gives you information on our parent informational meetings, knowing when they are. We currently have one coming up in October, on October 4th at 4:30 p.m. in the Media Center. You can come and see that, and you can hear me live rather than just through this presentation. We also have our AI, just focus mainly on our AIG site that keeps you up to date with our procedures. Take a look at our online brochures and our parent parent guides and things like that. You can also shoot me an email at mgifford, gifford2@wcpss.net, and you can always call me at 919-562-6193. All that information is on the link that actually the teacher did send you for our AIG program. So make sure you go to our parent site, and I really hope you guys have a great day. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email, and I can talk with you about our Explorers program a little more in depthly. So have a great morning, great afternoon, or great evening whenever you're viewing this video. Thank you again.